Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Eevee. Let's hope we get the, Flareon. Dad's key. Does this one open secret rooms? I think it does. I could be wrong, though. Anyway, we're gonna play. Good lord, please don't die this quick. Dad's key's actually not a bad item. But we're going to play as Eevee one more time, hopefully getting the, hopefully getting Flareon, and then we'll switch it up and do some other characters. You know, just, I may take a look through, see what other characters there are on it, see if there's anyone new. Here? It does open secret rooms, excellent. Excuse me? This is not a stone room? I thought it had to be on the first floor. Am I in a double room? No, he's so distressed! Oh, Eevee, I'm so sorry. He's so distressed. So, I have some fun stuff to talk about today. Dang. I saw I don't even know, like, how I saw... Oh, I know how! It popped up on my Reddit feed where it's like, hey, how about you listen to this, or, you know, watch this, or whatever. So, it is a... Dang, I was hoping that was a, secret room. It's a, YouTube channel. It's called r/, and I believe what he does is just release, like, he just reads off posts that he's found on different subreddits, and he'll call them based off of what subreddit it's on. And one of my favorite, I don't browse it that often, but when I do, so good. One of my favorite subreddits is r/, malicious compliance. What was the other ones? I can't think of them off the top of my head, but it's like funny stories of people being idiots. Like retail, you know, all that stuff. It's so good. And just so many of those stories. And I highly recommend either checking out the subreddit or the channel, which is just r/. As in, like, you write R and then SLA. You know, you type out /, not like Reddit. That's how it classifies things if you haven't used Reddit before. Really funny. If you've worked retail, you probably have some of your own stories that could fit that really well. Not so much as a bad story, but I had a really funny story when I worked at a hardware store. The person who came up to the counter asked me for a refund on something I couldn't do. You know, that's pretty typical. I'm the bad guy. I'm stealing his children's lunch money. Dang, I was hoping to be the second secret room. And they, like, I was like, I can't do anything. I have to get the manager. Well, you can't. No, I can't do anything. I have to get the manager. Well, it's a simple refund. I can't do anything. I have to get the manager. You gave me something with gasoline in it. I can't do anything until a manager okays it. Well, it's not that hard. Yeah, you're right. It's not. I could look in it. See, there's no gasoline. This is just one of the dumb things for the hardware store I worked at. I have to check it, make sure there's no gasoline, and then my manager had to check it. Why did I have to check it? If the manager has to check it the exact same way I do. So the guy, like, is complaining so much about how, like, what an inconvenience it is. And the entire time, I'm just sitting there like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Because the manager... At this particular store, they did not respond quickly. Because they were busy doing their own thing. They didn't like responding to calls early in the morning. Ah, shoot. Yeah, that was a good use of it. Ooh. Now I can have... Yes! Biggle stars! Yeah, so they hated, like, responding to them. Interesting room. Responding to them at all. Yes! No! Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so mad. I didn't even get the heart. Yeah, the manager hated responding to me because I just got a lot of the, dang. I just wound up getting a lot of the returns because I worked an early morning shift, and, a lot of people doing returns came in the morning to do the returns. So they'd be like, literally, they're just sitting in the office there. And so the guy was like, well, you need to help me out. And it's like, okay. It was a generator. You can't have gasoline in it. Well, it doesn't. Tilt the thing. Slosh, slosh. Are you sure it doesn't have gasoline in it? Yeah, I'm 100% positive. I emptied it. Slosh, slosh. I was curious, so I opened it up and, like, dipped a, flyer in. I don't know. Less than half an inch. No, not even that. Like, centimeter in. It's, the flyer's wet now. It's filled to the brim with gasoline. And I was like, we can't take it as gasoline. He's like, oh, you can just get me back for it. No, I'm not going to pay you for your gasoline in your generator. And, like, the look on his face when I said that, and he's like, well, you need to get me a manager. And it's like, uh-huh, they're already on the way. And... the manager took, like, extra long to get to me. So, the guy looks at me, deadpan, whatever, as, like, straight as can be, and he's like, so did you think you'd be working this job 30 years ago? Now, keep in mind, I'm 27 this year. That was a couple years ago. I have a beard. I think I've had it, like, literally always on YouTube. Maybe I've had a goatee. But I've always had a beard. And just, like... just being told, it's like, did you think you'd be working here 30 years ago? In my head, I'm like, I'm not even 30. This job is killing me. But, yes! That's also not a Firestone. Nice try, though. I just looked at him and I was like, and that's why it's like, that's why I should have stayed in school. Just, like, as straight-faced as I could. And then I came up with, like, this huge sob story about it. Just to make him feel bad. And, like, at that point, he would not move, so my line is just held up. And we couldn't just tell him to bugger off. So... the manager finally came over after, like, I kid you not, like, 20 minutes, and they're like, what do you want? And I was like, hey, it's a generator, needs to be returned, has gasoline in it. They're like, didn't you tell him to take it out? And I was like, yup. He wanted to hear it from you. And he's like, well, you're the manager, you can do something about that. No, we can't. Like, we're not gonna just store gasoline in the store. That's stupid. Yeah, it's a whole floor. So He grumbles and leaves. Comes back in like half an hour later with the generator. And it he dumped out half of it in the parking lot. Comes back in with it still having gasoline in it. And he's like, there, I removed all of it. Unfortunately, it's still me. The store did not want to hire many people. Because, you know, one cashier for 5 hours, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't even fret. No, it was usually like 2, but the other person would always leave. Because they didn't like doing cash register, so they always just no, what this one. They would always just like head out into the floor to help people. Like they would clock in on register and then immediately leave. So I was always by myself. And as it went through the day, it's like, so he's just there, and half empty. Like I tilted up, slosh. God dang it! I tilted up, slosh. I have a strange suspicion you didn't empty this. He's like, I got as much as I could out, and I was like, half full. And I was like, and what'd you do with it? He's like, I dumped it out in your fucking parking lot. And it's like, oh my god, you moron. For anyone who, I don't know if this is a universal thing. And I don't know exactly what it's called, but dumping out gasoline in a parking lot is illegal. And I think, or no, sorry, just dumping gasoline, like, I think there's leeway from accidents, like obviously if your car is leaking or you tripped and you dumped a gallon of gasoline and like it slips out, you know, I think that you're protected from that because it's obvious when it's an accident. We also have cameras, so you know. You could tell if he, like, was trying to reload it and accidentally, spilled it. No. So, he apparently dumped it out in the parking lot. I didn't say anything. I was just, I couldn't stop laughing. It's like, you dumped it in our parking lot and you were dumb enough to tell us. Good going, bro. You're real smart. You're so smart. And he got denied again, came back out, or came back in after like another 2 hours with the generator, and it was practically empty. And he had gas all over his shirt and hands and pants. Like, I don't know, I guess he tried to dump it out again and dumped it on himself. So he came back in that third time and he's like, there, I dumped it all out. I even had to ruin several shirts I had in there, and it's like, well. Then he argued. Were you gonna you gonna compensate me on the gasoline that I've had to waste? No. You dumped it in our parking lot. And then, the guy who just, he wore like a security uniform. He just picked up the, what are they called? Like, basically like pay stub thing, but not pay stubs. It's just, you know, like the accounts for the store. Oh, it's still live. And, at that point, because it was a blue uniform, but it wasn't a police uniform. It just looked like it. I informed him that dumping gasoline is illegal. He saw the guy walking there and ran out of the store without his generator. It was so good. Luckily, the generator if I don't find another stone, I'll become Jolteon on this run. I am looking, but I don't want to stay Eevee the whole time. I'm sure once you evolve, you can't pick up another stone. You shouldn't be able to. Yeah, the guy just ran out of the store without it. He came back in several days later. Like, I don't know, probably like 2 weeks later. And he was like, hey, can I get my refund? I recognized the guy. Because, I mean, I had to stand there for, like, forever with him. So I recognized him, and I just looked at him, and I was like, I'm sorry, what generator? Would you like to buy one? They're in aisle 3. That was... At that point, he was like, well, I don't have a receipt. And it's like, hey, look, I'm sorry, man. For those kind of things, I can't help you. He just like, left at that point. Moral of the story. Just bring your friggin' receipt. Don't be dumb. I know it's not a common thing, but I get such a kick out of it. Just the sheer levels of stupidity that come with retail. Oh, you know what? This will be really fun. If any of you have any... You know what? Not even retail experience. If any of you have any fun retail stories, which I guess this episode is all retail stories, because I have a couple more and I want to share them for this episode. I promise I won't do this every time. But, I don't know. I think it's fun for this episode. Hey, Eevee's happy. Yeah, we'll become Jolteon again. Really wanted to see Flareon, but that's okay. Yeah, so if you have any, please. I didn't realize it had that jingle. Did I? Maybe I did. Man, my range is so much better than it was last time. Let's actually... What was this one again? Carbos doesn't... Oh, hold on. Carbos. Is that speed up? I think it said speed up. Protein is strength, which would probably be damage. Yeah, I think that's Pokemon's, you know, because there's Carbos and Pokemon. I think that's speed. I don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, please, please, please leave, any funny, retail or something like that. Because, I have a couple other ones that are pretty good. So, this is one of the more recent ones that I've dealt with. I haven't worked in retail in a while because I'm just focusing on school right now. So this is when I worked at a game store, a popular stopping point for games. Wink. And the manager there, the manager, she was awesome. She was a really cool person to talk to. She understood, like, there are times, like, you can't get your work done. Not, I don't want to. You can't. Like, let's say a large group of people come in. You can't get you can't necessarily get done your work because a surprise large group of people came in. There was nothing you could do about it. And she'd be understanding of those. And she wanted me to understand, like, what games were coming out, but I didn't have to have, like, a mastery of knowledge of them. And the assistant manager, he knew these. He always thought I needed to be more knowledgeable about games I just didn't care about. A little Chad stank. And every time I'm like, well, I don't care about it. Like, if I'm selling the new Call of Duty game, it's not really hard to sell it because the people who want it already want it. Or have already heard enough about the game that there's almost nothing I can do to sell it to you. without lying. let me emphasize that. Because if I'm like, Black Ops 2 is the first Battle Royale game. Is it? No, it's not even close. There's no Battle Royale in it. So it'd be like, at the time, Fallout 4 was new. And he wanted me, because he kept testing me on it, and it was like, all this, like, garbage, superfluous details. I never could say that word, so. Sorry. But, like, all these dumb extra details that just... The people who want the game aren't going to want it for that sake. And also, it was false information. Because he's like, well, yeah, but with Fallout 4, you know, because, to be honest, they kind of lied in some of the press stuff about it. Because they're like, you can pick up literally any object in the world and take it with you. Can you? No. You can't. So, that they lied. As in the developers, or, you know, the preview things that I was given to, like, read off of lied. But I had to do it on my time. I couldn't, and it's like, look, no. If you want me to learn all this extra stuff, I'll do it on my time. I need to know what's in our store. That was dumb. I need to know what's in our store. Not all of these extra details on my time. If you would like to talk to me about them on my time. And he got really picky about small details. Because I'd be like, you know, the zombies mode is a wave-based, and he's like, no, it's not, it's a round-based. And it's like, look, I don't know about any of you guys, but if a wave round, I don't care. I guess technically a wave could consist of multiple rounds, whatever. Oof, I'm having a tough time here. Yeah, but it was all stupid stuff like that. But he, you know, you gotta be the most knowledgeable. I didn't waste people's time there. Sorry, I didn't waste people's time at all. If someone said they wanted something, like, you know how you have, like, a teenager, basically a kid come in, and he's like, yo, I'm super excited, I really want the new Smash Bros. And you're like, oh, dude, we got it in. And then you sell him Smash Bros. And then you're like, hey, do you want the Fighter's Pass? This wasn't that, I didn't work there at that time, but just the easiest example off the top of my head. And they're like, what? What's in the, whatever, you know, what's in it? And they could tell them. But if they, like, I had someone come in, they had $60 on the table. It was a $60 game, and they've already pre-ordered it. Like, it's already done. I'm not gonna try to sell them anything else. Because they came in, and they wanted the game. I'm not gonna be like, yo, give me more money that you may not even have. Or if someone sells games, tears up, you feel empty. Boy, ain't that the truth. But someone comes in, like, they sell games up to the cost of the game. Like, I get that you want to upsell game company, but there's also a degree of, like, I don't even want to finish this room. I'll almost walk out of a store if I feel pressured to buy something. Because I don't want to be harassed. Like, I get it. They have to do a little bit of upselling. So, if they're like, hey, do you want the season pass? No, I'm good, thanks. That's about what it is for me. But if they are like, well, hey, I know you bought Dark Souls, but do you want to buy Dark Souls 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Neo? It's like, no, shut up. I'm buying a game. I'm buying something. And I always, like, talk to the customers, like, about their interests. So if they said, this is an example that happened. They're like, hey, I've heard a lot about... Right, that's because that was the explosive one. I've heard a lot about the Dark Souls franchise, but I don't know. Or, like, I don't know about that kind of game. But I want to pick it up. I don't know if I'm going to be super into it. So I was like, okay, start with Dark Souls 1. It's cheap. Like, it's the oldest one. It was, like, $15. I'm like, why didn't you sell Dark Souls 3, which was, like, $60? And it's like, well, he doesn't know if he likes it. I'm not going to sell him the $60 one. Well, yeah, but you could have sold him the pre-owned copy of it. Oh, you're right. It's $55. I sold him a $20 one. If he likes it, he'll come back and buy the other one. If not, he's going to be mad and demand his money back. So, as it turns out, the guy played it, came back like, I don't know, a week or two later, and he's like, oh, dude, that was so cool! And then he wanted the other ones, so he bought them all. Well, POS assistant manager, he didn't like that. So, a lot of the times, to make himself look better, he would have me... Or he would log into his numbers on the register. That's how they could tell who's doing what. He would ring into his numbers and then be like, yeah, just do the transaction over here. And it's like, are you stupid? I know what you're doing. You're literally... Hilarious. You're literally just trying to take credit for what I've done. Now, as far as, like, how far my credit got me, it would be like if a full-time, or sorry, a quote-unquote full-time there was like 20 hours, but you were always guaranteed that per week. Well, a lot of the time I worked like literally 4 hours, not days, hours a week. It was awful. But I didn't mind it because it was just a side job, and I like hanging out and talking about video games. So the manager always wanted his numbers plugged in, and this is So I had to use like his numbers on it, and he got the credit. So the guy was getting it for. I believe they were all on 360, or maybe he didn't get 3, but the games he bought were on 360. No, I'm actually confusing this with another guy. So he bought them all. And this is kind of to show the example of how asinine the manager was, or assistant manager. Once again, the manager was awesome. The assistant manager was a piece of crap. Someone came in and they wanted to buy a console. You know, awesome. I love people getting into video games. I love video games. And my policy has always been, you know, give them what they want. Like, if they're unsure, obviously I'll always offer, like, my opinions on it. Oh, it couldn't be here. That was dumb. The secret room couldn't. I'll always offer my opinions on it. Like, personally, I think Xbox is the worst console. Just my opinion. Is it bad? No, it's fine. It's not my favorite one. I like the exclusives for... I personally prefer the exclusives for the other consoles. Whether it be Nintendo or PlayStation. I don't really like, hold on. Full health. I'm just trying to see what the pills are. Sure, let's just pop the other one. Was this one? Paralysis? That's worthless. So, talking about getting consoles, and he was, right, I'm still a wizard. He was looking at him like, well, you should get a, he's like, hey, I don't know what console to get. And I'm like, you should get a PS3. He was like, well, why is that? And I was like, if you find out you don't like consoles, it's a Blu-ray player. You bought a Blu-ray player that's about the same price. He was like, oh, hey, that's a good reason. Yeah, I'm smart. Because that was how I, like, one of the easy ways to sell it is it's not that expensive, because it's like $150. Oops. And it is a Blu-ray player, so even if you don't like the game, you have a Blu-ray player now. Instead of selling it back to us for like $50. And then being pissed that you spent $100, and then you're never going to want to try video games again because you got gypped. Well, you feel like you got gypped. So, excuse me, I need some water. I've been talking a lot more than normal. The manager's like, or assistant manager's like, hey, you need to sell him a PS4, you know. And I'm like, no. He doesn't know if he wants to play games. Why am I going to sell him the most expensive one? Or, you know, whatever. PlayStation or Xbox would both be the same price. But it's like, why am I trying to just sell him something really expensive? He doesn't know if he's interested. And he got pissed at me, and I got written up for it because I refused to upsell to the customer. And it was like, well, he doesn't know if he wants it. And he's like, well, did you try and sell him the controller? I was like, no, he doesn't know if he likes games. So the the customer comes back. I don't know. Oh, I also recommended him a couple cheap games. Like they were all cheap games. All old, like, I don't know. I asked him, and he was like, well, I liked, just for argument's sake, I liked Final Fantasy on the NES. And I'm like, oh, dude, you should get this Final Fantasy, or, you know, this RPG. It's pretty good. I really like it. Stuff like that. So, excuse me. So, he came back and he was like, hey, yeah, I really liked it. And I don't remember what he said exactly, but he got some extra money. So he was like, I think I want to go up to the PS4 instead of buying more PS3, he just wanted to upgrade to the PS4 because he liked it. And I was like, okay, awesome. So personally, I couldn't get a console. I'd asked the assistant manager. So the assistant manager goes back and gets it, and he's like, all right, I'm going to ring you up. You should get this. And the guy just looked at him dead in the face and was like, fuck you. I was talking to him. I want his advice. Like, it was beautiful. Because apparently the guy had actually been in before. He came in like a week later. Or so let's say it was 2 weeks he came in. Can I break this? Nope. He came in like, it was 2 weeks when I was there and saw him again. But he came in a week after, hoping to see me, and didn't, and he saw that guy. Which he was notorious for literally lying to customers. He pulled a couple good ones over on me. I was working like really weird shifts, so sometimes I just wasn't paying attention when buying something, which is my fault. But he would just like tack on special edition price and crap like that. But by the time I realized he'd done it, like, I'd already opened it, and they couldn't do anything. There wasn't recording of the audio. So I just let it slide a lot of the time, just because usually it was like $10 more, and the only thing I could do is trade the game in, and obviously that wouldn't be getting me my money back. Or at least enough of it to even remotely be worth it, because You know, you trade in a game, you get $30, it costs you 70. They don't care if it's a special edition. I'm out $40 for literally nothing. So, he did that with one of the Fire Emblem games. I didn't catch it for a while till I was like looking at my bank and I was like, wait, I can't afford pizza today. Why? Oh, it's because he screwed me. I think that's bad. Don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. We'll take it. There's nothing else I can take. Yeah, so he constantly was lying, and when the guy said he wanted it, he said he wanted the console, and the guy was like, hey, you should buy like these 14 games or something. And it's like, what the heck, man? Like, that's so dumb. Alright, so take this. Take this. Then take this. I don't know, I think I did that in the wrong order. Whatever. But yeah, he tried to oversell, and no one liked him. So that was a really good story. Well, I don't want to say it's a really good story, but it was a really good thing having the customer just basically tell him to fuck off. It was so cathartic, because just, I mean, no one liked him. He always managed to look good in front of the boss, though, unfortunately. And for 4 hours a week, I wasn't really going to go make a colossal stink about anything. Now, this was the final, kind of the final straw. But this was my final times at the game store. Excuse me. The store, or sorry, I would come in if I was in town and check the schedule. Or if I wasn't in town, I would call and be like, hey, what's on the schedule, or am I on the schedule? So the assistant manager didn't like me, but he worked a lot of the time I wound up calling. Very unfortunate. So I called, and he said, do not call the store again. I will tell you when you have a shift. Or, like, message, call, whatever. He said he'd notify me when I have a shift. And at that point, like, I was tired of, like, the job being only 4 hours. I never had money. And going in to check my schedule cost me money. Because it was a 30-minute drive. So, it ate up a lot of my money. Just checking it. So, goes to the point. I have gotten that. We'll get a little bit more money. So, I get a call from the manager after a month of no work. And I'm like, dude, what the frig? I knew it was going to be slow, but not this slow. And this is after the manager had talked to me about potentially being put as, you know, that full-time thing at the other store. Because they talked about it, that store needed someone, and she liked the way I conducted myself. Well, apparently he was gonna, apparently it wasn't full-time, it was to become the manager of that store, so I'd actually get full-time hours. Like 40, or no, sorry, 32 was full sometimes, but, you know, usually it was 40. He didn't like that, because he was the assistant manager, and his hours, like, he got a max of, like, 32 type of thing. So he was not happy. So he That's why he told me to stop calling out, because it would make me look really bad. And lo and behold, corporate caught wind of it. Corporate fired me. You know, if corporate fires you, there's not a lot you can do. Like, the manager could not do anything to help me. Because it would have to be like a big chunky investigation. And, yeah, they couldn't do it. Or, I mean, they probably could, but it would be, like, so long. And I was already so tired, so I was like, alright, look, can you make it so I quit instead? And she was like, yeah. I'll say you quit before I could tell you the news. And I was like, thank you. Because then it wouldn't, you know, I wasn't fired, I quit. But I was also told I could not work there for 10 years. Because that's basically the, it's the wrong word, but like statute of limitations for, no call, no show, multiple shifts, is that you can basically, arguably, never work there again, but there's a, it's 10 or 15 years. That's the time limit. So, at that point, I didn't care anymore, and I got fired because of the douchebag. Just so happens, in the interim time, I got another job. So, I was happy to keep it as, like, a side gig, because I did like working in there. No benefit for working, like, no discount at all. Actually, I found out there was one, but I was never told in writing that I could have it. But, whatever, I don't care. I found out later on that the assistant manager... I'm gonna go up. I don't know where I went last time. I'm just gonna go up this time. The assistant manager got fired for stealing money from the company. Like, if I recall correctly, it was the degree of, like, he basically would say that, like, they didn't make sales, and then, like, then just, like, ring out games for himself. Or take money out of the register, and then say that, like, the low-rank employees were miscounting money. Yeah, he was a big poopy stinky dong face. When I heard that, he actually doesn't even live in this state anymore. He straight up left the state of Maine. I was so happy when I heard that. That's my fun story for it. Oh my god, my throat's so sore, bro. I had to move a generator today, so, and it was like right before I started recording this. So my throat was cold and a little parched. I also just don't drink water enough. Here's your daily reminder. Drink water. Good lord, this run is going forever. I think it was 40 freaking minutes. I guess I do have really low damage. I like Jolteon a lot, but Jolteon's, you know, doesn't have the highest damage. Yeah, those are my fun. Please share work stories like that. And if you want to hear, I might do like a little podcast. Maybe like bring on people, or just do a couple videos where I talk about like just this exclusively. Because I have a lot more of those stories. Because I've worked almost exclusively retail or call center. I mean, as far as it's considered, call center is as bad as retail is. When it comes down to people being buttholes. What's this? This is glucose. Hype up your tears. That's shot speed, I think. Yeah, let's just leave. No, nothing there. Unfortunately, we didn't get Flareon for this one. But we'll switch it up. We'll try out either another character or go back to the old characters. Also, can I have another guppy item? Please. I would be most thankful. I do have a video coming out. I haven't made it yet, but I'm going to. It's going to be a talking about what's to come for the channel. Don't worry, it's not anything major. It's just like some. God dang it! Oh my god. It's going to be talking about like what kind of plans I have, and stuff like that. Because I'm going to. I think I might prepare ahead of time, but this should give me the... Yeah, it does. I'm going to probably prepare ahead of time videos just to get used to it, because the series I want to do is... Not that I don't appreciate comments. It's a single-player game. It's a single-player game. Yeah! It's a single-player game! It's a... It's the story-based bug game I was talking about. Bug Fables. And then also just some, like, one-shots. So I'm going to try and prepare those a little bit ahead of time. And I'm going to try to work and get 3 videos a day out. The Isaacs might get cut down a little bit. And by cut down, I mean I probably will just stop going to Delirium. Unless a run is, like, crazy good. But... you know, try to keep them within an hour. Obviously, this run I haven't dawdled besides maybe a minute. Like, it's just I haven't really had damage. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. And then Undermine will continue. Undermine will continue as it's been right now. Those will be whatever length they are. Because obviously, I don't know necessarily about what type of content is to come. Or in Undermine. Because I've literally seen nothing about the new floor. Because I wanted to stay fresh on it. Excellent. Which has been, you know, a little frustrating. Just for the fact of a lot of the content creators I like have... made content on it, and that's one of the games where I really like to watch it, but I want to make sure I'm not like, yeah, I'm just thinking what this other person thought, because I can formulate my own opinions. Actually, besides overhype, and that's just, like, it's a little hipster in me. When something gets stupid overhype and I look at it and I cannot understand why people like it, that's like the only time that I start to have my opinions forged by other people. And that's mostly just like one of them, which the opinion was forged by other people, is the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But that's because it was memed to death at me. The people who liked it that I was around, like, basically were, like, talking about it being, like, this hilarious joke piece of crap, worthless show type of thing. I mean, like, they loved it, but it was that type of thing where it's like they just never shut up about it for too long. They did the Duang stuff, which is, I don't remember if it's translated into another language, like Japanese to Korean to, or no, not that, because those are similar. But, like, translated really poorly around. So, It's like literally like one of them would be like, I am here, but it says like Duang or something. I don't know what the actual context is, but it was a terrible translation where it's like, I will defeat you, and instead they say, I am wood. Or something like that. It was funny at first, I won't lie. It's like Pokemon Vietnamese Crystal. Just to explain that one a little bit, it's Pokemon, I think, translated into Vietnamese and then back into English. And it's... Okay, so that's not the floor where it's really good. Actually... I can immediately take out the boss now. In the beginning, it's... for anyone who hasn't heard it, the beginning of Pokemon Crystal is like, hello, I'm Professor Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. Type of thing. Hey, you're a bam. Well, in it, it's... he's like, welcome to Elf World. I demand people call me Elf. Or something. Or it's like, Professor Elf, or something like that. So, it's hilariously done. But I also get the point of people being like, look, that's kind of funny, but that's also stupid. Please stop talking about it. Which is exactly where I got to with the, like, JoJo stuff. And, one, the art style just isn't that appealing. They're all Herculean heroes. Personally, I prefer the Adonis hero type. If you don't know what that means, one, it may be a term I made up. I mean, obviously I didn't make up Hercules, but an Adonis hero is someone who's thin and lean, typical anime, versus Herculean, which is typical superhero. Just big, beefy Chunk Master 9000. I don't know what this is. It's Death's List. I don't know if I could have taken that, to be honest. I don't know. Yeah, but it was just like, hearing too much about it sucked the life out of it for me, so I let that, my opinions on it get, swayed. Another one is Skyrim. I was one of the few people who didn't let, or who let the bugs get to me in Skyrim. So I didn't just forgive it blindly, which I know a lot of people have. But when I had the game early on, the game was a horrible, horrible, buggy mess. I forgot that doesn't work here. And I played it on all three consoles. PC, 360, and PS3. So I played it on every console, and it was horribly buggy for me. Like, irredeemably buggy. I would, like, spawn in, fall through the world. Walk up a cliff, I just ragdoll all the way back down. Stuff like that. So it made it unplayable, so I always hated the game for it. And then it's also, everyone, I'm sure if you've been on the internet, know that everyone loves that game and thinks it's literally the greatest thing in history. And I couldn't understand it, so I always took the mature approach and said it's crappy poopy dongs. Yeah, I couldn't understand why people liked it so much and just ignored all the bugs. So, that was another one. I've since given it another fair shot, and it's okay. I've played I've played what I would consider better Bethesda games even. I like Fallout 4 more than that. So that's my opinion on it. Is it a bad game? No. Does it have this god status that everyone gives it? God, no. It's just okay. You know, in my eyes. It's just always funny hearing people talk about, like, this is the defining game, and I'm just laughing the whole time. The Hanged Man. But that's also me being a little snotty about it, because it is being snotty. I look at the game and I'm like, yeah, I've played much better games. I also don't really like the traditional. Sorry, I'm not going to say traditional. I'm going to say, like, the American-style RPG. Because while people say that they have so many more options, because it's supposed to relate more to D&D, I always feel more limited in those. Also, because I can make so many options, I've never felt their stories were anywhere close to a story constructed with purpose, which is the typical JRPG. You literally have a story and maybe a couple choices, versus infinite choices, which means a lot of your choices are meaningless. Like, if you join some of the covenants in it, you get a different storyline, but ultimately that didn't affect anything in the game. And then anytime I try to explain that to someone, they're just like, you don't understand! You're right, I don't. I just shut them up immediately. You're right, I'm dumb. This has ceased to be worth my time. Ah, dang. That's probably, like, my two most controversial, like, opinions about anime and gaming. Well, no, probably Gurren Lagann's my most controversial one. Because I genuinely just, I don't like it. I thought the... Dang. I don't like the characters in it. Yeah, I don't like any of them. Okay, so... a lot of the times when I wind up with Dead Cat, I'll do this. I probably could do it flawlessly. I don't want to, and this episode's already 58 minutes long about, so I'm gonna cut it here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and had some fun listening to the stories. Once again, please share your stories down below in the comments. I'd love to hear some other funny stories. I'm gonna go. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay notified on other Isaac videos or any other videos. Got a series on Undermine, similar to this game. Really cool. Highly recommend. Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.